you. Oh, sorry. So we want to first not take it personally. How can we do that? By taking that deep breath and telling ourselves, I'm safe, I can handle this. This child needs skills or love. Okay, we're going to talk about the brain. And this is, of course, not a medical explanation. This is a simplified explanation, but even if you Google brain state or social and emotional learning, it'll all talk about how the brain functions. Okay. So let me look at this. So here we have three different stages, three different parts of the brain. Okay. This green part here is your frontal lobe. Okay. This is the part where all of the executive decisions are made. So problem solving, organizing, metacognition, which is thinking about your thinking, decision making. Okay, this happens in this part of the brain. So there's a lot of talk about kids that play football or kids that play soccer and hit the ball with the head, how it affects their ability to make decisions and how it affects their brain. And it's because the ball, right? Or if you're playing football, where do you get hit? You get hit in the head. So any kind of trauma that happens to the brain affects these skills. Okay. Now, for all of you that have children, young children, this part of the brain, the ability to make decisions and problem solve, does not fully develop until they are 24. Now, it's 24 if there are no learning disabilities. And if you're younger than 24 here, I'm very sorry, but at least now you know. Okay. And that's if there's no learning disabilities, no ADHD, no spectrum, nobody on the spectrum. The minimum is 24. And I heard a lecture, I don't remember who it was, but what he was saying was a child that has ADHD or that shows symptoms of ADHD is 30% of their age. So think about that. If you have a child who has been diagnosed or shows symptoms of ADHD and they're 10, really their brain is functioning as if they are 7. So the way you teach a 7-year-old or treat a 7-year-old and your expectations are going to be a lot different than 10. The way if a child is 18, I can't do the math, but yesterday we did the one for 26-year-olds. A person who's 26 that has some kind of learning delay, they're really functioning as an 18-year-old. Okay, so think about that as you're dealing with different conflicts in the classroom. Okay. Timekeeper, if you can tell me at 11:45. Okay, all right. So the first part that develops in the brain is the survival state, and that's your spinal cord, and then that's this very bottom part of the brain. Okay, and that is the first thing that develops, and that's what's in the babies, right? This is your survival state. Okay, this is the part of the brain that reacts when you're threatened or when you don't know what to do. Okay, so this is why babies cry, they scream because they don't have any other skills. When a child is responded to when they act in this state, then this part develops. Okay? When a child's needs are not met when they're an infant, okay, then there's a delay in, I'm sorry, there's no pointer, but there's a delay in this in the development of this red area. Okay, so just to give you perspective, okay, this is not a time for it, but a baby that's crying is crying for a reason. Okay, when a baby is crying, and I'm talking about an infant, not a 2-year-old here. Okay, when they are not responded to, they learn that adults do not respond to my needs no matter how much noise I make, or I need to up it until my needs are met. Okay, so think of a little bit older, think of a 1-year-old, okay, and maybe not the first child, maybe the second child or the third, right, that will just scream and scream and scream and scream until you respond to them. So they're learning, I just need to make it more, okay, or so that's the survival state. Okay, how do we know if a child or a person is in a survival state? These are the behaviors that you will see: kicking, hitting, pushing, biting, or the opposite. So you will see them attacking. Okay, or the opposite, just giving up. You know, the child in your classroom or maybe even in your family that no matter what anybody does to them, they're like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, no big deal, right? Those are the kids that sometimes we tend to like more, right? Because they don't give us problems. But what happens is this becomes a life philosophy for them. No matter how badly a person treats them, they just surrender and they give up.
That's wrong.
Okay? And this can become very dangerous. So think about that. Okay. So when you see a child doing any of these behaviors, and we do it ourselves, right? Aren't there sometimes we're just like, we want everybody to go away. We just want quiet. Okay. Or we want to hide under the blankets, or we go in a room, or we find a place in the house where nobody can find us. Right? I know that doesn't work, but that's when we're in our survival state. And when you see somebody doing these behaviors, and attacking is the same thing as withdrawing as far as what state they're in. They're asking the simple question, am I safe? They don't feel emotionally safe. Maybe they don't feel physically safe. Okay? And what they need is to be noticed. So when we were going through the other pictures before where we were describing, that lets that child know that you are noticing them. And that helps to calm them down and get them to the next stage. Okay. How can we do that in the classroom? By having routines and having pictures. And the next slide, I think, has the examples. When you have a consistent routine in your classroom and you have pictures to support that, then the child's anxiety tends to go down. And what you can do is you can come up with a method in your classroom that when you finish something, you either, for example, have a clothespin, like you move it. So let's say you did your introduction, okay? So you move the clothespin from the first one to the second one. I was working in, I was doing some trainings in one of the Islamic schools in the lower school, and she had a student that every single day he would ask, or she would ask, when am I going home? When are we going home? So what they started to do was they made the routine, and every time they finished something, so if they had reading or they had language or they had math, they would turn the card over so it would be done. So he would feel like, oh, I finished that. And they would say, oh, only 4 more things, only 3 more things. So that developed a sense of safety for that child. Okay, assertiveness, inshallah, we're going to get to today. And then composure, right? Taking that deep breath and approaching in a calm manner. Okay, so let's say they're calm, they're not hiding, they're not hitting, but they've got that mouth. I hate you. You never treat me friendly. You're always you have your teacher's pet. Okay? You don't like me. She's doing this, he's doing that. Whatever words you hear is an indication that this child is in an emotional state. So they feel safe, but they're asking you, am I loved? They do not feel noticed. They do not feel loved. And it's because they haven't been acknowledged and they haven't been encouraged in a way that they are responsible for their actions. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So rituals, so doing those I love you rituals, having that brain smart start, having jobs, okay, helps them to feel loved, helps them to feel important. Okay, when they make a mistake, instead of blaming them, give them alternative choices. Okay, for behavior. I noticed that you grabbed the marker from Ahmed. You may not grab. Grabbing is hurtful. You may say, Ahmed, can I have the black marker when you're done? Now practice with me. I'm sorry, I just realized I told you we were going to do breakout rooms, but we will, but hold on. Okay. So when a child is in the emotional state or in the survival state, these are the 3 things that we have to do to get them to the next state. Okay. So the first one is to download calm. Remember, how you perceive a situation dictates your state, which dictates your behavior. So if I see this child as needing help, or needing love or needing skills, then that's going to help me calm down. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath. And if you're still looping in your brain and this child really annoys you, or this adult, right? Whatever the situation is, I mean, let's be real, it happens to us, right? We tell ourselves so this person needs help or this person needs skills. So I had a co-teacher my very first year at working. And it was my first year back to the States, my first time for me to go back to public school after 15 years. And this teacher would just say things to me that were just rude. She told me, you were only hired because you were a minority. She was just on my case. You did this, you did this, you did this. I was like, oh, within my first month of school. And the thing that kept me going was understanding she didn't have skills to say things in any other way. Okay. So changing your perception changes your state, changes your behavior. All right. So you're going to download your calm. If you cannot get into a calm state, do not approach the child. Or don't try to problem solve, at least. Like if there's a fight or something, you can break it up, but do not try to problem solve unless you're in a calm state. Okay, then you're going to make eye contact. And if you have a phone, go ahead and take a picture of this slide because you're going to practice in breakout rooms in just a second. Then you're going to make eye contact. Now, let me tell you something very interesting. The nerve of the eye is connected directly to the heart. So subhanAllah, when we're told to lower our gaze, and what do people say? Oh, it's not a big deal. We have to make eye contact, right? So there's a hikmah, there's a wisdom in the Quran for that, okay? So download your calm, make eye contact, then describe. And you're describing without any judging. You're just describing what you see. If the child is not making eye contact with you, keep describing. Okay? And they may look up and then look down. Don't go any further until you get eye contact. Okay? And I mean, I know this is going fast, but this is our situation. Okay? So I'll say, for example, I notice that your hands are going like this and your eyes are down like this. And as you're describing your breathing, okay, as soon as their eyes go up, you go, there you are. Something happened. Now, if it's a child that is verbal and they can describe things, then just be quiet. Just pause and be quiet. Something happened. And then wait. There's a beauty to wait time. Just give them a few seconds to pull their thoughts together and say something. If they start to cry or get angry, but there's no words, let them go through it. And if they still don't have words, then you can start to guess. Did somebody hurt you? Are you angry? Are you sad? Or you seem angry. Don't make a final judgment. Oh, you're angry. Right? If somebody told you that and you weren't angry, you would be like, right? So leave it open. You seem angry. You seem sad. And make it a question. Now, if the child, is that enough? Should we practice that and then go into the next stage? Let's stop there. Okay. So Sister Zainab is going to put you in breakout groups. And you'll be 3 people each. Everybody take a turn describing. So one person just make a face or do something and the other person describe it. Okay, and notice. You good? So we'll do 3 minutes. Is that good enough?
Yes.
One person told me it's one thing to hear it. It's one person to watch a person dive off a diving board and think, oh, that's easy. But when you get on that board, it's different. So this seems easy until we start to practice. So go ahead. You'll be in your breakout rooms for 3 minutes and then we'll come back and shout on them.
من وقف التسجيل يا أختي هديل أستاذة زينب؟
ممكن وقف
نعم إن
التسجيل.
شاء الله.
One brave person, just describe what it was like to be noticed. Not-
Sorry, may I say, there was nothing done in my room. Nobody spoke. I sent a message and nobody answered. So
Okay, so somebody who was noticed, who went through the experience, can you share, like in 1 or 2 sentences, what did it feel like to have somebody describing your actions?
It felt really nice, honestly. I did the expression, and my two other sisters, they made me feel better, even if I impersonated the little kid. Not being, she was a little girl that was sad because a friend told her she didn't like her dress. She had like just a sad, disappointed face. She reached out to me and asked me what's wrong, why are you feeling this way, and I told her. And then she told her that you are beautiful. I like your dress. It doesn't matter what others think of what you're wearing if you're happy and you love what you're wearing. And then we reached out to the other friend who said it and asked her. First, I told her I would compliment the other friend that said that she didn't like her friend's dress, and told her, how would you feel if somebody said something about what you're wearing? And then, of course, she's not going to be happy if somebody said that I don't like your outfit. We asked her to apologize and tell her that everyone likes what they're wearing. Everyone has different choices. It's good to appreciate what you have and apologize, please, and kind of resolve the conflict.
Okay, so you felt that you were, excuse me, it was an opportunity to connect. You felt that somebody was making the effort to connect with you and to resolve. What happens a lot of times is we go to the bully first, right? The person who's doing the wrong thing. And what we're teaching is when we do that, so if I go to the girl or to the boy who's causing the problem, I'm teaching that the victim is not important. I'm giving the person, they both need attention and they both need skills. But when I go to the aggressor, for lack of a better word, first, then I'm teaching that victim that aggressor has more power and is more important than the victim. We always go to the victim first. Okay, and you're gonna say, they're crying, they're screaming or whatever, and you do the same thing. I noticed, you seem, just describing without any judgment. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and continue for the sake of time. So whenever you see a conflict or a situation, you're describing, so it's DNA, right? Just like your DNA. You describe only what you see. Okay, you don't say this is a good thing, this is a bad thing. Just describing your hands are like this, your face is like that. As soon as you get that eye contact, then you will acknowledge the emotion. Something happened, or you seem sad. All right. Then this is the part where the question came from, and this takes this takes a lot of work, and you will need not help, but it's important that when we do something like this, that you have somebody to listen to you. For the sake of time, unfortunately, we won't be able to, but just practice with me, and then maybe you can have an accountability partner or a partner in your school setting where you can practice this. Okay, sorry.
It's 11:45, Sister Salwan.
Jazakallahu khairan. Jazakallahu khairan. Okay. So somebody takes a crayon from somebody. Okay. Here is where we're going to put in that assertive command. We're giving an assertive command, but we're teaching the skills. Okay. You wanted to use the red crayon, so you grabbed it from Ahmed. You may not grab it. Grabbing hurts. Okay, so I'm stating the rule and I'm stating how it affects the child. Now listen to the difference. You wanted to use the crayon, so you grabbed it from Ahmed. You may not grab, grabbing hurts. Or, so you wanted the red crayon. Okay, there's 1,000 red crayons here. Or you could have just waited your turn. You cannot grab. Look, he's crying. Okay. You notice the difference in the tone, right? The first one is just This is the way it is. Okay, that's the assertive tone. The sky is blue, the sun is yellow. Life is just like that. You may not grab. Okay. The second tone is very aggressive. And aggression begets aggression. So if I attack somebody, they're more than likely going to attack me. Okay, and that's not what we want. The other thing that begets aggression is passivity. Habibi, don't grab. Oh, look, don't grab. That's not nice. Look, Ahmed is so sad. Like some people just want to choke you when you talk like that. Right? So passivity begets aggression also. So this is where you're going to practice. Sometimes you don't even know what to say, but it's how you say it. Okay. So the way to practice that is before anything comes out of your mouth, then you say, take a deep breath. The sky is blue. The clouds are white. You may not grab the crayon. Okay. Don't say the sky is blue and the clouds are white. You're going to say that to yourself. Okay. Just to develop that assertive tone. So just practice. Take a deep breath. Say to yourself, the sky is blue. Yourself, the clouds are white. You may not take the crayon. Grabbing hurts. Now, I see one of these sisters laughing. Are you going to do this every single time? No. Are you going to oops? Yes. Of course you're going to oops. Okay? And the more you are invested, the harder it's going to be because you will get more frustrated because you have higher expectations. But practice, practice, practice. Okay? And find a partner, right? Find somebody you can practice with. So you're going to set the rule, then you're going to give them the skill. If you want the red crayon, tap Ahmed on the shoulder and say, can I use the crayon when you're done? Practice with me. Okay? Remember, they do not have the skill. How do we learn how to read? How do we learn how to read Quran, Sister Hadi, right? By practicing, practicing, practicing. When you first started cooking, you probably didn't do a very good job, but you practice, you practice. The first year of teaching is not like the third year or the fifth year. The first year of being in a new position, it's hard. And then you figure it out, right? So practicing, practicing, practicing. Okay. It may be helpful if you want a picture of this slide, just to have that language. And if somebody will remind me, I will email you some statements that are already written out that you can just hang up in your classroom and just fill in the blanks. Okay, and put them up. That classroom is for you also. All right, how are we doing on time? 11:50. Okay. Okay, you excluded Reem from your group. This is for the older kids because she was mean to you yesterday. Okay, you didn't let Yusuf play basketball because he doesn't shoot well. Okay, for the boys. So you're just going to describe it. I noticed that you had a group discussion that all of you girls were sitting together at lunch and you left out Reem. You may not leave out your classmates. You can ask Reem to sit with you, or you can go sit with Reem. Which one is best? Now, to answer the sister's question, in order, if they don't listen, or if that doesn't work, then just do what you know. Basically, the broad answer is you need more connection. You need more information and develop that relationship with the students. Or if that doesn't work also, then you make the choice for them. I noticed that you didn't join Reem and that you didn't ask her to join, so I'm going to ask you to move. But that cannot be your first go-to, right? Because that breaks the relationship. Same thing with the basketball. I noticed that you guys didn't let Yusuf play because he can't shoot. You may give him a different position on the team, or you may split up into two different groups. Okay, so give them the skills or the alternatives. Or if they're older, then you can say, excluding people is hurtful. How can we resolve this problem? Okay. Okay, what are some adult situations? This because of time, I just want to acknowledge that this happens with adults also, right? There are situations that we're in, we don't know what to do, or somebody is hurtful to us, and we don't have the language. So these same language stems, sentence stems also work. You said you were going to take over my class so I could go home early, but you didn't show up. That was hurtful. That was difficult. Okay. When we create this culture where everybody's included and it's okay to talk like this, then we're building connections. Okay, and you end up working in a place or being in a place that you are there for because you want to, because you feel included. Okay, all right. I'm going to give you a second to fill in your questions, write your questions down. I'm going to send you a link, inshallah, in the chat box.
Okay, so Sister Silvan, while you are posting the link, there was 2 questions from the previous break. One of them was by Sister Ban. She was asking, and the other sister, they almost have the same question. Like, they have so many things to do in the classroom. They have the objectives. They have to make sure that they have to engage the kids. They have to put hands-on activities and so many other things, and also dealing with the students in a short time. So how they can manage all of that in a short time?
Okay. So you need to give your, okay, there you go. So I'm going to answer the question, and then the people that have jobs, if they can prepare their answers also.
Yes.
So you have so many things to do. So remember, when you're first establishing a classroom, right, you're putting in your routines. So think about, what do you want your classroom to look like? How do you want it to run? And what can you give the kids? Okay. So if you're collecting papers, or you're passing out supplies, or whatever you need to do, or whatever that needs to get done, give it to the kids, right? Your job is to teach. You need to share the information. Everything else, let the kids do. Are they going to do it automatically? Absolutely not. You have to teach it. They have, so come up with the jobs. And you can do it as a group, or you can just list the jobs. You can tell the kids, okay, what are some jobs that we need to get done in this classroom? And come up with those.
Sister, it's my question is not how to control the time when nothing is when everything is normal. Conflict, like when we have 2 kids are fighting or talking to them, and especially when the class has more than 4 ADD, ADHD, too many conflicts. It takes time from the teaching instruction, from the time. So my question is, if I want to deal with it perfectly, I lose time for teaching, which bothering me a lot.
Okay.
I feel it's not fair for the other students.
No, it is. I understand. It's very difficult, especially if you have more than one. So you want to establish structures for the kids. So if you have kids, and alternatives, if you have, so first of all, not first of all, but one thing that's important to understand is the kids that, based on their age, that's how long they can focus. And that's in a perfect environment. So if they're 12, they can only focus for 12 minutes. Okay. Think about yourselves. How long were you able to stay focused until we started, getting things moving? So make sure that your lesson is broken up. Every 3-4 minutes, every 5 minutes, you're doing something different. Even if it's just like standing up, sitting down, or answering a question quickly, just change it up a little bit. And then offer your kids alternative things to do. So for your students that can't focus, or your students that are conflicting, having conflicts, before they come into the classroom, so you know that this is going to happen, or you can predict that this is going to happen. So before they come in, make a plan with them. Say, I notice every single day you have a problem with Ahmed. What is that problem? Okay. They can either tell you now, or you can say, let's make a time after class to discuss it. Or they can say, I just can't sit that long, or I get bothered, or I can't focus. I had a student he would go to the bathroom every day for like 10 minutes. And I was like, buddy, what's going on? He's like, I can't sit. I cannot sit that long. I'm like, oh, well, that's easy. Then, we can just move around in the classroom. So ask the kids what their problem is. Change up your lesson, make sure that your lessons are interactive. There's a wonderful, or not wonderful, there's an interactive program called Kagan, and they have a lot of cooperative learning strategies where you have the kids turning and talking and just more active and more involved. And I would observe the kids that are give you issues in other classes. The other thing that we didn't get a chance to talk about is encouragement. Notice those kids that are seeking attention quickly and often. Okay, and I'll type it in the chat box right now, how to encourage. So you want to tell them what they did well and how it affected the world around them. So I don't know if you noticed that as we were, so you want to say, for example, here's a very simple example. You pushed in the chair so no one would trip. So no one would trip. That was helpful. So like, oh, okay, right? You picked up the toys so that everything could go back in its place. That was helpful. You sat in the classroom and listened for 10 minutes. That was helpful. Okay, so noticing students more often helps to keep them alert and also helps them to understand that their actions have consequences. How many times have we punished a kid and they really could care less? And it's kind of scary, right? And it's because they don't understand that. They haven't seen that their actions can bring joy or upset. And sometimes we have to teach that to the kids. They're like, look at so-and-so's face. You helped her find the bathroom. That was helpful. Look at what her face is saying. And the same thing with the upset. Did you notice that when you punched so-and-so, his face looked like this? And his body went like this? So teaching those strategies, this is not an instant thing, right? You're talking about 6 to 8 weeks. And then after a long break, after Eid break or winter, you're going to come back and teach it again. Okay. Did that help answer the question a little bit?
Yes, inshallah, they will be asked to put their questions on the survey, inshallah. Yeah.
Okay, it's 12 o'clock. I'll hang out here for a little bit, but I just want to tell you, so take a deep breath. Think of something that you learned that you would like to implement. I want to tell you, Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for taking 4 hours out of your early Friday morning during summer break, right before Eid, right before a day of fasting. Jazakallahu alf khair. I wish you all well. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, this is a problem of mine. I forgot to have people share their jobs. So I hope though that you understood the importance of having jobs. I wish you well. If you want to have another session next week, I think somebody will send you an email where we can just have a time to chat and discuss issues, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر جزاك الله خيرا.
ما شاء الله.
جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا sister.
Sister Salwa, assalamu alaikum, and everyone, jazakumullahu khairan. We'd like to, on behalf of Quran Performance Department at American Open University, we'd like to thank you so much for your amazing presentation and this workshop. And actually, I think we learn from your actions as we learn from your words in this class, in this program or in this workshop. The way you manage, the way you talk, the way you react with your sisters here, that will help everyone, inshallah ta'ala, to practice when they deal with their students or their children. Jazakumullahu khairan, and thank you so much. I would like to thank Sister Hadil and Sister Zainab and Taysir Institute for their efforts. It's our pleasure and honor to cooperate and to work together. And brothers and sisters, Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah bless you all. May Allah grant you all success and tawfiq. And may Allah accept from all of us. Tomorrow is day of Arafah, Al-Hajj wa Arafah. May Allah accept our dua, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah allow us all to perform Hajj and Umrah. and may Allah accept from
Ameen.
all Hujjaj and bring them back to their home safely, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakum Allah khairan. Sister Zainab and Sister Hadi, inshallah. Bismillah.
آمين
جزاك
آمين
الله خير.
جزاكم الله خيرا. جزاكم الله خيرا brother رحابي دكتور رحابي بارك الله فيكم. Make it possible, make it easy and professional, mashallah. جزاك الله خير Silwan for your time and for your information. It was really helpful and looking forward to answer the question for next week, inshallah.
Of course, you will receive all certificates, inshallah ta'ala, by email. Inshallah ta'ala, the admin Sister Sidra will contact you through email to send you all your certificates. Plus, we have, inshallah ta'ala, right now, Sister Sidra will send you the evaluation, your feedback about this amazing class. So we need your feedback, please. It will take from you just 1 or 2 minutes. If you don't mind, please do it now before you leave or right after this Zoom. That will help us to improve and to hear from you all. Jazakumullah. Sister Hadil.
think Jazakallah khair. Just share your opinion. Barakallah fikum. Can't thank you enough, Sister Salwan. Barakallah fikum. Salam alaikum.
وعليكم السلام سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام جزاكم الله خير
جزاكم الله خير.
جزاك